So today we finally got the chance to check out the Galaxy Tab S9. I don't know about you guys, but does it seem like the box is getting thinner and thinner each year? Normal price is $799 in the United States. I actually get the free upgraded storage of 256 gigabytes with 12 gigabytes of RAM instead of only 8. Now this one is the graphite version, but there's also beige, so I'm curious to see what that color looks like. You've also got Wi-Fi and 5G versions, so pricing could be a little bit different depending on which version you get. This one has the new 11-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display, 1600 by 2560 resolution, up to 120 Hz refresh rate. Comes with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, 8400 milliamp hour battery. Software wise, of course, this one comes with Android 13, One UI 5.1. You can also expand the storage with a micro SD card. You've also got 4 speakers on here, tuned by AKG. Also, you've got up to 45 watt fast charging. I was getting a little concerned there, but it does look like they've got the S Pen included. You've got a pretty long USB-C to USB-C charging cable, micro SD card or SIM card removal tool, and of course, quick start guide, terms and conditions. Looks like one small difference here for the S Pen. Instead of having the Samsung logo on the curved side, it's now on the flat edge. Pretty small difference, but one way to tell the difference between them. Other than that, they look pretty much identical. Looks like the S Pen still charges there on the back, in case you were wondering. Now the style of this one, almost identical to the S8 series. One obvious difference is the camera there on the back. More rounded now, similar to their cell phones. Definitely looks pretty good in person. 2 speakers on each side, charging port on the bottom or the right hand side, depending on how you hold it. You'll notice the power and volume buttons are on the same side now. On the right hand side or on the top of the tablet, you no longer have the fingerprint scanner on the power button, but on the screen instead. Of course, you've got the pogo pins there on the bottom for the keyboard. Fairly slim bezels all the way around. Front facing camera is there in the center on the long edge. You've also got face recognition on here, fingerprint, PIN, password, and pattern. I notice when you do the fingerprint scanner now, the circle moves, so you don't really have to guess where to put your thumb. You also have the choice of light or dark theme. We'll keep it on light for this video. Okay, pretty subtle background here. Wallpaper on here actually looks really similar to my S23 Ultra. Okay, a couple different options for the wallpapers. It looks like it's using about 40 gigabytes of the 256 available. Definitely seems like it's using a lot of space. I'm wondering if that's why they give you the free storage upgrade. As you can see here on the home screen, pretty typical for Galaxy devices. Left of the home screen, you've got the option of Google Discover or Samsung Free. Actually looks like they've updated this to make more tiles to fit in there. I kind of like that. Swipe up to access all of your pre-installed apps. Quite a few from Samsung, Google, still has a few from Microsoft, and then a couple extras here like Netflix, Spotify. I can already tell I'm gonna like the fingerprint scanner on here. Seems pretty fast. Nice thing is it looks like the S Pen charges in either direction now, so that's kind of nice to see. And of course it sticks to the side of the tablet as well. Doesn't charge there, but still nice to have that option. The S Pen features look very similar to the previous S8 series. I know it's sort of personal preference, but to me the S Pen is probably one of the best options available when it comes to writing notes, drawing, just moving around the software. And I like that you can attach it to the side of the tablet or on the back as well. And then of course you've got your shortcuts over here on the sidebar, which you can adjust to put pretty much any app over there. And it gives you the option of live messages, people, smart select, tasks, weather, tools, reminder, and clipboard. You'll also notice you've got the taskbar down here at the bottom, so you can quickly switch between apps. I still feel like it's a little more cramped when you hold this in portrait versus landscape, but I guess it's not that hard to adjust to. Up in the notification shade, it looks pretty much the same as the previous version. You've got Samsung DeX, Smart View, Nearby Share, Eye Comfort Shield, Dark Mode, Dolby Atmos, Second Screen, Call and Text on other devices. You've also got multi-control, modes, scan QR code, and you can add quite a few more like secure folder, create note, S Pen Air Actions, color inversion, kids, daily board, camera access, take screenshot, extra dim, and so on. It's a Widevine L1, so you've got full HD playback resolution for apps like Netflix and up to 4K resolution for YouTube videos. Now, if you're wondering size-wise, it's pretty much the same size as the Tab S7 and the Tab S8, although it does feel like it's just a little bit thinner. Funny thing is, the keyboard from the Tab S7 fits and works with the Tab S9. One little issue around the camera there, and it doesn't look like the S Pen is going to be in the right spot. But yeah, technically you could still use this keyboard with it. You might just have to modify the back of it, or just use a different back on it. Of course, you can use any Bluetooth keyboard and mouse to connect to this and use Samsung DeX if you want to be a little more productive. Just always a nice feature to have on Galaxy Tabs. Now, performance-wise, it's been a little while since I've looked up what the Geekbench scores were for the Tab S8 and S7, but these numbers seem pretty impressive, a little higher than I was expecting really. And of course, it's going to feel nice and snappy just moving around the software. It does seem like a nice performance bump from the Galaxy Tab S8, and you can play games like PUBG Mobile at HDR graphics, extreme frame rates, and yeah, everything looks pretty good on here, but it still doesn't look quite as clear, or the graphics don't look quite as sharp as I was expecting. Just pretty similar to the Tab S8 series. And then of course, games like Asphalt 9 play pretty smooth on here as well. It didn't seem to overheat or have any glitches during my testing, and I feel like most people will enjoy gaming on this tablet, especially for those that prefer Samsung's AMOLED display versus LCD. I also ran my typical battery drain test to see how much better this new version is, and yes, surprisingly this one lasted about 2 hours longer, right at 9 hours before dying, versus only about 7 on the previous model, so that seems like a pretty large improvement over the Galaxy Tab S8 when it comes to battery life. I'm not sure if they updated the speakers in this, but it definitely sounds nice and loud. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. You've got a 13 megapixel wide angle lens on the back of the tablet, 12 megapixel ultra wide for the front facing camera. Now for the camera app, you've got portrait, photo, video. You've also got pro video, single take, night, food, panorama, hyperlapse, and portrait video under more, not to mention Bixby Vision and AR Zone. I've read online that you can do 4K 60 frames per second for video recording. However, if you look right here, it's only 4K at 30 frames per second, unless you have to change something else in the settings. For some reason, they don't let you do 60 frames per second. The details in the photos actually look really nice, at least in my studio lighting. Here's a few samples of photo and video, just to give you an idea of what to expect from the new Galaxy Tab S9. I don't know, the photo and video quality on this one doesn't feel like a big improvement over the Tab S8 series. Still gonna be good enough for most people to use for Zoom meetings, video conference calls, that sort of stuff. I guess I was just expecting a bigger improvement though. So as you can see, some pretty nice upgrades from the previous gen Galaxy Tab, but I have to do some more comparisons to see if it's worth upgrading if you already have those. I know I've got a lot more Samsung products to cover, more tablets, the Flip 5, and the new Classic Watch, so you'll want to look out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.